Yeah, look, that's a very good question. I actually get asked about protein quite a lot. How do we get protein, or the best sources of protein? And I think we've sort of been led down the garden path by vested interests in certain industries. And I think this is where I always say to people, you've got to do a bit more research. You can't just believe the marketing material. And it's quite crucial. I mean, the word protein comes from the late Greek proteus, meaning first quality or first source, from the early Greek protos, simply meaning first. Our ancestors knew back then that the best source of protein was first source protein, which came from plants. Now, along the way, certain industries, I guess, have railroaded the whole thing, really, and they've led us to believe that we can only get it from meat. Well, there's actually over 200,000 identifiable proteins, and all of them can be found in varying levels in plants, as of course, as well as meats, at varying levels, but you can get everything you need from plants. You don't have to eat copious amounts of meat to get a good source of protein into your diet. And I'm not telling people that they've got to become vegetarian or vegan. I'm just simply explaining a simple fact that proteins are in all things, again at varying levels. I mean, if you wanted to mix up your diet a little bit and have a bit of less meat, you can get it from green leafy vegetables or nuts, varying range of nuts, legumes, such as lentils, beans, chickpeas, that sort of thing. I mean, each to their own, but it just annoys me when we're told that we can only get our protein from meat sources. I mean, when you look at it, the biggest and strongest animals on the face of this earth are all herbivores. Think about it. Elephants, giraffe, bison, buffalo, rhino. I mean, look at rhinoceroses. I mean, they are enormous, those things. They're about 4,000 kilograms, 4,500 kilograms. What's that, about 8,500, 9,000 pounds of just solid bone and muscle. Yet they get all their protein, and they're able to build that solid bone and muscle from plants. And I know some of those animals have got, such as cows, have got 4 stomachs to digest that grass properly, and we haven't. But I'm not saying we have to eat grass, but we can actually get it from plants, just like they do. So you've got to sort of look at this thing. I mean, if you look at our closest relative, the gorilla, 98 to 99% anatomically and physiologically perfectly matched to humans. What does it eat? Certain fruits and leaves from specific trees. Where does it get its protein? It hasn't got a stash of supplements behind the bush or a barbecue behind the bush. No, it gets it all from plant sources. And they are actually one of the strongest land mammals on the face of the earth from a powder weight ratio perspective. I mean, you look at a silverback gorilla, that's anywhere from sort of 190 to about 250, 280 kilograms, depending on the specific breed, I guess. And they are solid bone and muscle, super powerful, and they get all their nutrients from plants. We actually base the power system for our engines on our cars on horsepower. Look at horses. All they eat is grass. They drink water. They hang out in the sunshine, which is supposedly meant to kill us all. So when we look at these things, I mean, look at a horse. I mean, depending on the breed again, anywhere from about 250 kilograms all the way up to 1.5 tons, 1,500 kilograms of solid bone and muscle. They are just brute strength, those animals, and they've got no fat on them. They're ripped. They're just they're amazing, and they get all their protein and all their nutrients from plants. They get their calcium, their vitamin C, their magnesium, their iron. I mean, have you ever seen a calcium deficient horse? I sure haven't. I mean, they get it all from plants. So you might just want to look at things before we sort of run off down the path of popping lots of pills or saying we have to do it this way, we have to do it that way. Sometimes we're led to believe things, we're educated from a young age, things which are actually quite incorrect. Again, I'm not telling people or saying that people have to become vegetarian or vegan. All I'm saying is we might want to look at things because, sometimes things aren't always what they seem to be. And it's generally, I guess, perpetrated on the public from vested interests. So yeah, look, that's a good question, and I actually like that question because it's one that I'm quite passionate about. So yeah, it's like I said, look into things. You can get proteins from a very wide variety of sources, not just meats and supplements.